My name is Kayla. Today, Ryan and I will discuss the topic of augmented and virtual reality and how they have become disruptive technologies for a few industries in particular. We will also discuss what virtual and augmented reality are, how they can be used, and how this technology can impact business results. Lastly, we'll share our future predictions for the technology. As we go through the information, it will be important to understand what augmented reality and virtual reality are and how they differ from one another. Augmented reality, or AR, is really an enhanced version of reality that essentially superimposes a model into the real world, whereas virtual reality, or VR, essentially shuts out the real world and creates an artificial environment. The biggest difference, again, and a way to keep them straight, is that AR will incorporate the real world, whereas VR takes you out of the real world. Another term that you will hear us use is extended reality, or XR. This is a term used to collectively reference augmented reality and virtual reality. Augmented reality and virtual reality seem like these magical technologies that we couldn't imagine experiencing. But in all likelihood, we have all used one or both of these technologies before. For instance, the ever popular game Pokemon Go is specifically an example of augmented reality. And when we think about virtual reality, oftentimes we think of putting on a headset and playing some sort of a game. Oftentimes, extended reality is associated with gaming, which makes sense as that's where much of this started. But this year alone, the majority of extended reality development isn't focused on games. It's actually focused on industry. Next, we'll take a look at the industries that are finding success with virtual reality and augmented reality. Now I'm going to discuss some industries that have been early adopters of augmented and virtual reality. For instance, the construction industry utilizes VR to develop 3D models that are used to create projects. They'll develop these 3D images of the space and then they can work to build structures to define the space. They also utilize augmented reality, specifically construction contractors. They can use augmented reality to place equipment, components, and building materials into place. E-commerce is another industry that has been able to use these technologies. For instance, Amazon has developed the capability for customers to try out certain items before they purchase them. For instance, if you're looking at purchasing a couch but just aren't sure how it would look in your space, you're able to use your camera to virtually place the item in your real-world home. Healthcare is another area that has definitely used augmented and virtual realities. Virtual reality has been used to treat patients with anxiety disorders or phobias. And augmented reality has been used to help staff learn how to use medical equipment like ventilators. It has been used to help train nurses on how to find veins in patients, as well as surgeons to learn how to conduct certain surgeries. Surgeons have also started to use augmented reality in real life surgeries as well. Next, we're going to talk about how extended reality can really impact business results. Extended reality certainly can have a positive impact on business results. For instance, it can improve efficiencies. Think about the example of the construction industry. Construction contractors, again, can utilize augmented reality. And now, instead of hoping that the building materials will fit as they were designed, they will be able to know even before they start placing them. Augmented reality can also help to improve customer satisfaction. And this is really for any industry. We did talk, however, about Amazon and how a customer can try out products before buying them. That can really help the customer's experience and help limit any needs to return items. Employee hiring and training is another area that can reap positive benefits. For instance, companies can find more successful hires as they will be able to have their hires, have the opportunity to experience the work site or the job even before accepting a role. Think about a role like a barista at a Starbucks or a coffee shop. Oftentimes, shifts can be very, very busy. Giving a future employee the opportunity to experience that type of environment may help that future employee know if their role is actually good for them or not. And when we think about training, they'll have more hands on training with low impact to the business, ultimately providing better employees as well as happier employees. And lastly, virtual reality can ultimately reduce costs. On the front end, it will be higher as you will need to get all the technology. But ultimately, companies will be able to see the long term benefits that can positively impact the bottom line, as well as provide a strong competitive advantage over other competitors. Next, Ryan is going to give some examples of how virtual reality and augmented reality are specifically used within the construction industry.
Thank you, Kayla. When people think of construction, I'm betting people don't think of Georgia Pacific, the consumer products company. However, as an employee at Georgia Pacific, we use modeling software to execute our projects in construction, but it really starts with the design. These models that are developed give the project team the virtual reality views shown in this walkthrough. During design, reviews are held with the project team and operational leaders. Walking through the model gives operators a real feel along with the views that are virtually similar to what they will see when the project is complete. These walkthroughs spur conversation with the design team to create better solutions, or interferences are discovered before they become costly when construction begins. All of these things are hard to anticipate with traditional 2D drawings that could be used for this process. In the last couple of years, Georgia Pacific has partnered with Librestream to advance us into the augmented reality technology space. In the past, pen and paper have been used to verify that work has been done. However, with Librestream and augmented reality technology, it is capable to check installation of construction in the field. It is with the model that was created, as shown in the virtual reality demonstration prior, that individuals like the one shown here can check progress of construction at the site. It is possible to walk onto a job site and verify that equipment and materials have been set in place in the correct location, all in one easy to see model shown through special glasses. Although Georgia Pacific has not executed a project with this capability yet, we are working through the challenges to utilize the full power of this technology. As mentioned, new technology doesn't come without its challenges. The resistance that we faced as a company at Georgia Pacific are similar to any other company navigating through new processes. First, XR is a disruptive technology. As our text states, the performance rate of this technology is higher than the rate of acceptance in the market. In other words, it is not commonplace yet, and the process of utilizing the technology has some kinks to work out. As more and more users begin to accept the technology, better processes are created with economy of scale and more efficient ways to use it. Secondly, people tend to resist new technologies. This is a second order magnitude change or infamate process, as our text explains. The challenge is in persuading the masses that the technology will provide solutions or a better way to solve a problem. Time and education for the frontline workers, along with management, are needed for them to accept it and understand its capabilities. Finally, complexity of XR can drive people away. Currently, and slightly contrary to what the Librestream video presented, some of the equipment that has been used for VR is bulky and cumbersome. This will change as many more people use the technology and tech companies refine the products for it to be easier to use. As Kayla mentioned earlier, XR has become more widely used throughout industry. I have been a part of these technology advancements, and it feels like we have only touched the surface. How XR continues to advance is only through reducing the weak links. One such weak link that continues to improve is computing power. To run the programs that XR uses to produce what we see requires an extensive amount of computer processing power. Each day, advancements in computers is happening and becoming cost-effective for people to use. 5G is a technology that is being distributed in areas which allows the data transfer at the speed it needs to run XR systems. With data transfer comes immense amount of data to store, and this is becoming possible through cloud-based technologies. All of these advancements help push XR to become more commonplace in all industry. So where do we think this technology will be in 2025? There will be an increased use from a variety of industries. It is no longer a gaming technology, and other industries will find ways to use this disruptive technology to provide benefits for their company. We are also going to see how we use and give directions. For example, the goal at Georgia Pacific's business is to develop a project virtually, give it to someone to build, and then extend the model to the site through AR. The capability is there, it just is not widely executed yet. Yet another simple example is in mapping in real time in stores. A possibility is there for a person to go into, say, the Home Depot, get a light bulb while looking on their smartphone that shows them the direct path on how to get there. Both of these examples are likely advancements that are easy uses of XR technology in the near term. XR will be intuitive for anyone to use it because of increased capabilities like 5G and the computing power increases, which make these things possible. And finally, education. Employees can train virtually, risk-free, without ever having to set foot into an office. Distance learning can be done and one can still participate in a classroom environment in real time, similar to what we are experiencing currently, but will be far more advanced in the future. All of this over time will afford people to accept AR more, and it will be more commonplace. And finally, in summary, extended reality has broken barriers from just the gaming platform and into other industries. It has done this because industry is finding that it improves efficiency, it reduces costs, happier and better talent are found, and higher customer satisfaction are all effects of this technology. Ultimately, this improves the company's bottom line. But with all the benefits come barriers that are needed to be overcome. The technology isn't liked by all, nor are all of the capabilities and ancillary technologies readily available. But through education, it can be more readily adapted. And with additional adaptation, more uses of XR will continue in years to come. We will see XR more integrated into our daily lives. Kayla and I want to thank you for paying attention, and we look forward to hearing more videos in the future. Goodbye.